Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. I don't even know what today is. What's today? Today is Thursday. Today is Thursday, January 6th. So, word on the street, a word through the media is jayz and Meek Mill with their reform. They've been going around, if you're not familiar, trying to create reform for the prison system, and mainly for like probation. And the long story short with Meek Mill is, if you don't know already, he was wrongly convicted some years back, and he was on probation for almost 13 years or something like that. He kept getting violated, whatever. So they just got something passed in Michigan about reducing the time of probation from like 5 years to like 3 years, and some other stuff that they're doing there. I know in California, I believe they did something, or they're trying to do something to eliminate probation. And one of the problems one of the main reasons for their motivation is technical violations, what puts people back and incarcerated for, let's say, they had the most common reason is drug issues. They do a drug test and it comes up positive, and then they rearrest them, and then put them back in prison for usually is about 3 to 6 months. Usually, I appreciate what their mission is, and I appreciate their goals and what they're trying to do, and their efforts and their intentions. I have to appreciate that, because not a lot of people, especially with their type of platforms, use their platform, or use their brand, or use their name, or use their stardom to try to create more positivity and use it to correct injustices. So I have to appreciate that. However, the prison system is nothing but modern day slavery. If you watch my videos, I've said this before. Or if you followed me, I said this before. The prison system is nothing but modern day slavery. Is equivalent. The only difference is they're not physically, for the most part, they're not physically putting lashes on your back with a whip every time you say no. Not physically. For the most part, because in prison people do face a lot of abuse. It depends on which prison, and it's just, I say it's kind of like the streets. It's like whatever neighborhood you're in. Some neighborhoods are a little bit rougher than others. It's the same thing with the prisons. Some prisons are a little bit rougher than other prisons. But they're designed so once they freed the slaves, air quotes, the only way to become a slave again again, is your 13th Amendment. If you haven't heard anybody or heard me say that before, your 13th Amendment is the only way that they can make anybody become a slave. And the 13th Amendment says, in order to become a slave, you have to commit a crime. So if you commit a crime, you can become a slave, basically. And that's not how it's said word for word. Google it, the 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, and you can get the correct way to say it or whatever. Because I know some people, you said it this way, that way. The moral of the story is your 13th Amendment says that it's there because in order to become a slave, you have to commit a crime. So what does the justice system do? They make stupid stuff become illegal, and then when you do it again, you might not gonna, I used it before an example, cut your grass, because you didn't cut your grass, and you keep getting violations, fines, and then one day they just say, you know what, let's just make them a slave. Of course not. They don't say it like that. Of course not. What they say is, you contempt the court, you didn't pay your fine, and so you have to serve 90 days, 60 days, a year, 160 days, 165 days in prison. That's what they say. You got caught driving drunk, you got a DUI for the third time, you have to serve a 1 to something years in prison. They don't say you're going to be a slave. Oh, you got a DUI. You got a DUI, so now you must be a slave for 1 to 5 years in prison. Now, some people thinking, well, how is that being a slave? That's different. Slaves pick cotton. Inmates make license plates. Inmates make furniture. For 20 cents, 40 cents, they get fed 3 times a day. They get fed 3 times. Some prisons 2 times. Because I heard stories. Some prisons only feed you 2 times, or some prisons feed you 3 times and 2 times a day on the weekend. So yeah, you're housed. You got a roof over your head, but you're going to work every day for pennies. And what happens is these big companies, they contract with prisons in order to make their labor costs cheaper. Not only that, if it wasn't for the prisons, the plantations, then a lot of small towns wouldn't have, it'd be a lot of people out of work. It's job security, job creation. They tear down the schools and build another prison. But I figured I'd share that with you this morning. In my opinion, the whole system needs to be, you need to get rid of the whole system and restart it, in my opinion. My opinion is, if you really want to do the right thing, which I know a lot of people really don't, they like things how they are, they feed their family, their community has 500 jobs that's being provided. The probation system is just an extension off of that. So a lot of people don't want things to change. A lot of people like that when they retire the next 5 years, they got, you know, they get what they get. They 401k is decent, and they can cash out, and then, you know, whatever else, you know, tell stories, you know, about their days working inside a plantation. But the right thing to do would be to get rid of the whole system. So again, I appreciate everything that Jay-Z and Meek Mills and Yo Gotti, I believe, has a part in down south with all of that. I appreciate all of that. But at the end of the day, the whole system needs to be done. It needs to be another way. If it hasn't worked, and God, how long? I forget. The first penitentiary was Eastern Penitentiary in Philadelphia. So I believe that was 18 something, or the early 1900s. So we talking at least 100 years or close. If the system hasn't worked in 100 years, what's the definition of insanity? Keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. And it's not that people are expecting different results. It's just, it's easy. We're accustomed to it. We're accustomed of somebody taking a now and later out the store and then being arrested for it. I keep saying the police isn't really the problem. Defunding the police isn't the problem. Get rid of the prison system. Get rid of the warehouses, the distribution centers. That's the problem. Walmart can't operate, or these small mom and pop shops can't operate without a bigger distribution system. It's barking up the wrong tree. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I don't have to tell you this, but I am. Please subscribe. It helps me out. Please like the channel. It helps you out. Or like the video. It helps you out. Peace and blessings.